So good evening to everyone and welcome to the Metta Convention.
Yeah, see?
Yes, it's a one-week program and we are so delighted to have all of you here for the very first day as we start. And the theme for the Metta Convention is Metta Olympics, right? So we thought that would be clever, you know, Olympics, Metta Olympics. And how better way to start the Metta Olympics than to have two very well-respected venerables go head-to-head in a trivia bowl. So we're very excited. So on behalf, firstly, of Metta Centre, I first want to pay our respects to the Triple Gems, the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. And I also like to show our respect and also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. So that would be the Dharug people who were the first traditional custodians of this land, which this physical meeting is taking place. And I wish to also acknowledge the First Nations people who have cared for this land for thousands of years, and we have much to learn from them. We also express our gratitude for our venerable contestants tonight and for being such good sports to go in this first ever Buddhist Trivia in Bankstown.
No idea what you're saying.
Me too. It's first ever in Bankstown. I don't know about the world, so I just thought it was Bankstown. I'm pretty sure about that one.
I mean, if this was Buddhist profundity, you know, I have no doubt that I'd win. But since it's trivia, I think that Brahmali's from there. What do you think, Venerable?
Oh, that is really unfair. I think that's we shall find out. Does that mean that if you win this contest, I'm more profound? Is that what it means, sir?
Good question.
I'm going to have to think about that one.
Anyway.
I don't really need introductions, but for sake of making this official, in the red corner, we have Bhante Sujato here. Bhante is, or was a former rock star, but now he's a current Suta star. Bhante Sujato co-founded the Buddhist website Suta Central in 2005. So we'll hear more about that later in the evening when we invite Bhante to tell us more about that. He also spent 3 years living on an island off the coast of Taiwan, meticulously translating the four Nikayas into English. So we all have the benefit of these incredible works available to us in the palms of our hands. And what I mean by that is, of course, our phones. And in the blue corner, we have Ajahn Brahmali, whose knowledge of the Pali language and the suttas is excellent. And I'm reading this from the bio, who I don't know whether he wrote it or someone wrote it. He completed the only full English translation of the Vinaya Pitaka, and that's available on the Suta Central website. And I'm told it will be published in a book in the next few years. So
2 months.
2 months?
2 months.
Oh, we need to update your bio. So I think today, and also Ajahn, of course, has published a number of essays. He's also helped in the recent translation of the numerical discourses of the Buddha, and he's also included in public, and some of his essays have been published in the book, The Authenticity of the Early Buddhist Texts, in collaboration with Bhante Sujato, so they do get along. And he also has an degrees in engineering and finance. So I think today we are really lucky to have these two incredible teachers, wise monastics and speakers here for us to ask some really awesome questions to. So before we start though, what we want to do is we want to show something to all of you as a way to start the Metta Olympics. So we have Venerable Dharmadaro, who has recorded something for us because he's currently overseas. And so we'll hear his voice and we'll also see some of the photos that he's collected for all of us as a way to set the scene tonight and for the rest of the conference. So let's have a look at what we've got.
So the Metta Olympics, this is what's happening at the moment. This is something that's been put together by Metta Centre, some talks and some activities and a few different things going on for for people's learning of the Dhamma and people's practice. So I think this is actually quite a great idea. I think it's quite a wonderful idea, because this is also something that I noticed, and it has occurred to me in the past. Just last year I was talking to another monk, the abbot of the monastery I was at. He mentioned himself, isn't it interesting how naturally the Brahma Viharas tend to flow in the Olympics? And they do. And they flow on a pretty big scale, people coming together from all parts of the world in this general spirit of goodwill. And they collaborate, and there's this general attitude of goodwill. And I think that's why when an athlete falls, whoever they are, wherever the spectator is from, wherever the athlete is from, we tend to feel compassion. At least that's my impression of the atmosphere of the Olympics. The energetics, the atmospherics around it, is that compassion comes up. And maybe someone who doesn't win, someone who loses, doesn't get what they set out to achieve. And when someone wins, wherever they're from, again, like, this is where you can see the quality of mudita. It does come up, feeling happy for them, acknowledging them wherever they're from, even if they're not from your country. There's an acknowledgement of their effort and where it's taken them. And this is a kind of compassion, this quality of compassion, this quality of mudita, appreciative joy, a more celebratory kind of mind state. And it kind of transcends national boundaries. And this is quite a lovely thing, because at least in the history that I learnt growing up, through high school, a lot of it was very dark, and it was about war and not friendly competition, but real conflict, competing for scarce resources like land and power and wealth. This actual conflict which leads to war. And the Olympics is really nice, because it's all these countries just forget all of that and throw it to the wind. At least those chapters of the history book, there's more depressing events in human history, get put aside, and this event takes place. So on a communal level, this is where the people of the world come together in harmony to do this event that we know as the Olympic Games. So as an Australian, for me, I think this is actually one of the strengths of our culture. This is an advantage, I think, and it only occurred to me after many years. I started to think about this. We've grown up in quite a sporty culture, and so anyone who's grown up in Australia, I was reading a few years ago about how we do very, very well, considering our economy and our numbers compared to other more powerful nations. Australia, it does incredibly well in terms of the number of medals that we collect and take home from the Olympics. It's actually very impressive. It was an American travel writer that noted that, and looked at the statistics. And we grow up in a culture, I think, is quite sporty, and you learn things like teamwork, like how to cooperate with teammates, but you also learn about sportsmanship, how to not be a bitter loser, but to lose gracefully sometimes, to even respect your opponents. Maybe more, other things like exerting or putting effort into something, but not taking it too seriously, not taking oneself too seriously. Would be another one. Practice, doing something again and again, training. But again, there's a sense of, when it's sport, it's like this sense of a fun challenge. And I think this is very central. It's about a fun challenge, not taking it too seriously. How do you put effort into something? without it being almost like too grim, almost like a kind of a punishment or something like that. It's something that should entail some joy. And yes, this is part of our culture. We learn these things, and they are things that you can apply to your Dhamma practice. It could go wrong, obviously. When we talk about the Olympics, identifying too much with your own team, your own group, as Dhamma practitioners, when there's a certain Dhamma quality lacking, or it wouldn't be so common, something more subtle like upekkha, having the wisdom not to attach too much, wanting one team to win, but being able to sit back and not identify too much with one group or one nation, so the mind doesn't go up and down with what's going on. This would be one thing, or we could think is almost like, the elite athlete. You think about athletes, peak performance, amazing levels of human speed, strength, this sort of thing. Obviously, Dhamma practice is not about that. When we talk about sportsmanship, it's not one-upmanship, always wanting to be the best of the best of the best, to be some kind of elite human being. It's not really what we're talking about. It's more like seeing it as a challenge where we're willing for a bit of the suffering that comes up, but it should be the suffering that comes up for the sake of happiness. So a fun challenge is where we just accept there will be difficulties, there will be maybe some injuries, some setbacks, a little bit of dukkha along the path, but we embrace that challenge and we accept it, and we try and do it with a spirit that it's a fun challenge. Again, to maintain some lightheartedness, not take it too seriously, and not take ourselves too seriously. So there's quite a few things I think that could be said for a concept, something like the Metta Olympics. So I hope this is a fruitful thing for everybody, and I hope that it does foster some more Brahma Viharas, and that it all goes well. And okay, I'll just say that much for now.
Thank you so much, Venerable. So, Ajahn, I will be leaving shortly, so you're welcome to take the centre seat if you like.
So that was his calligraphy, is that right?
That is, yeah. So he does these calligraphies, and he shares it with the Metta Centre, and it's quite nice as part of his practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So we're really grateful for Ajahn Dhammadhara, even though he's not physically here with us because he's overseas, to be able to show that, because he really put a lot of thought into it when we told him about Metta Olympics. What does that actually mean? And we all have different interpretations. And I thought that was a really beautiful way in which he was able to summarise Metta Olympics, and also link that with our Dhamma practice as well. And today with the Metta Olympics, we've got, of course, the Buddhist Trivia, and we've got questions. And we drew these questions from a really diverse range of people. So we drew them from contributors, from monastics, as well as lay practitioners. So some of the questions, we may even tell you who asked those questions. And we also want to emphasize that the reason why we did that was because we didn't want this to just be a question to trick any of the speakers, but rather it's a way for all of us to learn from this experience as well, and for us to see that it's really our collective knowledge, and this is what embodies the spirit of community and shared learning. So this is a really nice way for us to learn about Buddhism in a way that may be different to what we're used to in terms of Dhamma talks, but nonetheless is something that can be very powerful as well. So for this Buddhist Bowl Trivia, we do have two facilitators who will be conducting the actual running of the event. So I'd like to invite Bharat Ramesh, who's here, and also Matthew Osborne, who's online. And we can probably remove that screen now, and we can show Matthew as well as Ajahn Brahmali on the screen.
So just stop
So
the
we'll
share,
get
so
there. Yep. Great, thank you. Okay, over to you guys. Thank you.
No, good. Yeah. All right, folks, I'm Bharat. You might have thought I'm the IT guy here for some obvious reasons. Yeah. So even a couple of weeks back, somebody asked me, "Oh, are you working in software? Are you in the IT?" Oh, I understand why you're asking, but well, we'll start the session. I'm Bharat Ramesh, and I'll be facilitating some of the questions. And Matthew, who's also here online, he'll be facilitating some of the questions. All right. Okay, so I had planned the acknowledgement, which Tina did already. And I had planned something as well. Okay, so here is me, all right? From International Center for Neuromorphic Systems, this is where I work. All right, this is a video of a rocket launch. Off we go, 1, 2, 3, Metta Convention. Yeah? All right, this is courtesy of SpaceX. Of course, you don't have to look at the whole video as such. The point is, no enemies of mana. All right? So team formation, guys. So whoever is online, that's one team. That's a Zen Brahmali team. Ajahn Brahmali, can you actually access the chat of the Zoom? Are you able to see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would expect that people, whoever is online, would be able to put their answer in the chat. And Ajahn Brahmali, if you like, you can actually look at that chat to decide whether you want to actually take one of those answers as your answer. All right. And that's the Zen Brahmali team. Okay.
Wow.
So
Is that cheating or?
We'll get there. Yeah. So whoever is in person here, you guys are the Sujato Sages. Who's going to give me? All right. So that's how the team has been formed. And I'm going to do a trial round now. It's not the real thing. All right. Just a trial round. We'll see how it goes so that we're all on the same page. So trial round. Sujato Sages versus Zen Brahmali. Soph here. She's going to time the whole thing for us. Also keep scores. 10 points for right answer. No negative answers as such. We're all heading towards Nibbana, so it's all positive. Okay. And we'll see how it goes. Okay. So I'm going to troll some of you from time to time, so we'll see how it goes. All right. First question, trial question. Which animal known for its patience is often associated with Buddhist stories and teachings? Your time starts now. 30 seconds. People who are here, you can actually confer among each other, but I don't know how this is going to happen. All right.
So what is the idea here, Ramesh? Is that idea to answer as quickly as possible? Is that the point, or so as soon as we have an answer? Or is it just
yeah? I mean, we're not going to score you guys based on the speed.
Right.
I think the answer is more important.
So we just wait for the other person to answer and then give.
So so the way I thought about this is, I will choose one of you guys, like one team from time to time, and that team will answer first, and then next time the other team will answer first.
Okay.
Both teams will be engaged for every question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am seeing some flaws in this approach, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be discussing it, which means they can hear our discussion, but they're on chat, so we can't see their chat.
Yeah, but then we can actually mute ourselves here so that they can't hear us.
Or we could just trust them.
Mute. Use the mute. Use the mute.
Yeah, Chris, there. Go for it.
That's okay. Let's just go and we'll say,
yeah, we can just mute ourselves from time. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see if we need to.
Go.
Would you like me to advance?
Okay.
Yeah, the answer is, of course, elephant.
Is it? Ah, excellent. Very good.
We move on. Matthew?
Yeah. Oh, and each question has a quick tip.
Yes.
Most of the tips are completely not very helpful. But anyway.
So the first round is Buddhist history. It's we're going to ask questions about what happened 2,500 years ago, not 50 years ago. Okay, so some of these questions have to be understood in that context. We move on. Next slide, Metta. So the question is, who was responsible for the compilation of the early Buddhist teachings? Pali can I have the quick tip? And some of you may say Bhante Sujato and Ajahn Brahmali compiled the Pali canon on the Suta Central website. That's definitely not the answer. Okay, so your time starts now, 30 seconds.
Who compiled the early text?
Someone Pali.
All right, time up. Time up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll first gonna ask the answer from Ajahn Brahmali's team, the Zen Brahmali team. Can I have
Our
your
answer is the 500.
Oh, it's unmuted already.
Unmuted.
Okay.
All right. So okay, I'm just looking at all the answers online here. This is really nice to give me a team. Actually, I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. And lots of good comments. And some person said the Buddha. I don't think that's the final answer. That's one nice answer here. I think the obvious answer must be the first council, right? When all the monks got together and they compiled the teachings. So I think that must be the answer here in this.
Okay, so can we listen to the other team?
Okay, so well, it was the 500 arahants led by Ananda at the first council.
Okay, I'm going to give half marks to Sujato Sages, and I'm going to have to say no to the Zen Brahmali team as well, because the answer I thought is most reasonable here is Venerable Mahakassapa, who was heading the council, and Venerable Ananda, who was responsible for the suttas,
yeah.
and Venerable Upali.
Yeah.
So that's why I put 3 things there.
Okay. It would have been a bit clearer saying about what people were responsible.
Yeah, if everything is clear, then there's no round here. So.
Fine. So I've just done blank questions. So moving on.
Okay. Yes. Can we move to the next slide now?
So,
Yes, we'll figure it out.
no. Just saying, did everyone get that answer?
Yeah. So can I know?
Kassapa was the questioner, Ananda recited the suttas, and Upali recited the Vinaya.
Bhante Sujato, can I take this opportunity to ask you to share about the Suta Central project, and if there's anything that you want to share about?
Oh, thank you so very much. Suta Central is really an awesome project. Here's a thing. I don't know if anyone can see it, but anyway, here's the thing. And we do suttas and Vinaya, we translate them, we make them available. It started out as a way of linking the texts from all the different traditions. And it's sort of grown to be a lot bigger than that. So we sponsor volunteer translators from all around the world who are translating suttas and the Vinaya into all kinds of different languages. We have more than 40 or 50 languages on Suta Central at the moment, but we're always working to increase the coverage and to make the Dhamma available to everybody in the world in their own language. Currently, we're working on a project to rebuild. We built a translation engine, a web app for translators to use, and we are currently rebuilding that to improve the capacity to add more text and to give better support for the translators to do their work. So that's our current project that we're doing at the moment with Suta Central.
Thank you so much, Bhante. I heard that some fundraising going on at the moment.
That's correct, yes. So we're raising funds for our programmers and for people who are not familiar. We employ professional programmers to do our work because it's hard work and you need to get it done professionally. And so every once in a while, we put out a call for fundraising so we can help to do that. And so if anybody wants to help us out, that would be fantastic. There was a little quote before from the Thai saying from Venerable Tamadaro, somebody who offers even one word of the Dhamma, then that's the same as, or one letter is the same as sponsoring a Buddha image. And I think it's really important to remember how valuable that is, because ultimately what matters is the Dhamma and making that available to people. And so if you can help out with that, that'd be really helpful.
Thank you so much, Bhante. And we'll move on to the next question. Yes.
For those online, I've posted into the chat the direct link to Suta Central as well as the donation button.
Great, thank you.
All right, second question from the Buddhist history round. Which disciple was reprimanded by the Buddha for displaying his supernatural powers? The quick tip is, it is related to me in some way or the other.
Thank you.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so can I now invite the Sujato Sages to share their answer? Just 1 or 2 words, yeah?
Just 1 or 2 words. Could be an answer that we don't hear from the team. No, I don't think it's Devadatta. I think it was, I think the answer is that other monk whose name escapes me at the moment.
Yes, he will.
Yes.
Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, I can remember what happened. He flew up in the air to grab a wooden bowl from the pole,
Yes.
and then flew 3 times around Rajagaha, doing victory laps
Yeah.
with the bowl.
Yeah, 1 or 2 words, 1 or 2 words.
And then the Buddha said, Buddha compared his exhibition of psychic powers to, and I won't say the rest.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, that's the juicy bit.
Yeah.
But what's his name again? Oh.
Go on, time out, yeah. Let's ask the other team, the Zen Brahmali team. What's your answer?
My team hasn't really come up with any satisfactory name, but I will bring the name. I believe the name is Pindola Bharadvaja.
Yes.
Thanks.
No.
I think we get
No. Sorry, it's a disciple name. So okay, I'll tell you why it's related to me. My clan name is also Bharadwaj.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Who was the Arahati Bhikkhuni, the female nun who lived during the times of the Buddha, proclaimed to be the foremost in Vinaya, the rules for monastics? Your time starts now, 30 seconds.
Who was the bhikkhuni? Go with Patachara.
Yes. Okay, we got the answer from Sujato Sages, Venerable Patachara. Okay, can I ask the Ajahn Brahmali team?
Yeah, my team has the same person, Patachara. That seems to be
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving on. Matt? Yeah, the quick tip was thank you, Sensei, for the last 2 questions. Yeah, okay, moving on to Matt. Take it over, Matt.
Okay, over to me. Let's move away from this picture of me. It's a bit scary. Hi everyone, good to see you all, whether you're in Australia or anywhere else in the world. And thanks
You're in
to.
Ramadan. Is that right?
That's right.
Yes, I am. I'm
well.
just recently started a new job here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's great to see everyone in Australia, many old friends, and I'm sure some new friends too. Now, the next questions are my own nefarious creations. And what I had in mind was just that sort of response we got from Venerable Sujato there, where it's like, I know the answer, but I can't, it's on the tip of my tongue. So let's see what the first one on Buddhist history is from me. What are the 2 different methods for ascertaining the Buddha's date of birth? 30 seconds. And it's not looking at his birth certificate or asking his mum.
Time over, Matt.
Before Matthew, you continue, I just want to say that for those online who are using ChatGPT to find the answers, probably don't do that.
What?
Thanks.
I want to say, please keep doing it, because that is really not very good. That's not going to get you a good answer. It's not going to get you a good answer here. But since Tina is the hostess with the mostess, she makes the rules. So we're going to have to ban that. But I just noticed for this time, and I thought, you're kind of helpful, but that's not going to get you the right answer in this case. Okay, So to the answers, which team first? Which team first? I think we are with the Sujato Sages.
Yes.
Bhante, what are the two different methods?
Two different methods is relative to King Ashoka and using the Vinaya lineage lists.
Excellent. Not quite the exact wording that I had, but they are the two methods. Yes. And the Brahmali, the Zen Brahmali.
The Zen Brahmali is they also have the Ashokan lineage, so that's kind of that's the same. And one of the, I think also one of the methods that was often used, but it's probably used in conjunction with Ashoka, was the Pali commentaries, the Mahavamsa, which and the dating of the Mahavamsa was also used in one of these calculations. But yeah, anyway, so there you are.
Okay.
The lineage lists, right?
From the Mahavamsa.
Yeah.
No, I'd just like to clarify here before I give out the points. Bhante Brahmali, does that include the dotted record?
The dotted record is a northern record, right? It's not.
No, the dotted record is the southern one.
Is it?
The northern record is the textual based one.
Is it? You sure?
I thought it was the other way around.
Isn't the dotted record in the Chinese histories? This could descend into
pretty sure it's not. No, I'm more like hesitant here.
Ask ChatGPT.
I don't think their answer helps.
I think it is. And now I'm all like confused and flustered, and I'm feeling that somebody's about to post an answer from ChatGPT in the chat to correct me. It would be horribly awkward, wouldn't it? I want to say to the Sujato Sages, 4 marks there, and to the Zen Brahmali, can we give a half mark there?
Yes.
We can do that? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. The next question.
Brahmali's disappeared.
I think he's disappeared into like some display of psychic power. It's like some radiating white light is all I can see.
Advisory just like floated up into the air. Yeah.
Who was the tantric master from Udayana who established Buddhism in Tibet in the 8th, 9th centuries? Quick tip, has a cool mustache. In most of the iconography we see. 30 seconds.
I'm up.
Bing. Okay. Which team are we next? Who should be asking first? The Zen Brahmali.
Zen Brahmali, okay. Sure, we are the Zen Brahmali team. So this is not me, this is actually the team from everywhere around the world, which is great. And they have come up with Padmasambhava. That's the name we have. So there you are. Our response.
Excellent. Okay, great work. And for the Sujato Sages?
Also Padmasambhava.
Okay, great work. 4 marks all around for these two teams.
We're actually at a tie right now.
Are we? Oh, that's great stuff. Excellent, excellent. Okay. Question number 3 from me in this round. The great translator Kumarajiva translated texts from what tradition of Buddhist philosophy? The great translator Kumarajiva translated texts from what tradition of Buddhist philosophy? Quick tip, certainly not Theravadan, that's for sure. 30 seconds.
So who goes? Do you want to go, Brahmali?
Yeah, just, which of you two teams would like to answer first? I'm fine.
We'll go first. We'll go first. Okay.
Okay.
So there's very few Abhidhamma texts in the translated into Chinese. There's only, I think, only 2 schools. So I would reckon is this, and those 2 are Dhammaraguptaka and Sarvastivada. This will be Sarvastivada, I would say. That's what I say. Anyway.
Okay, Sarvastivada. Okay, so I think that the question's a little bit vague in terms of what a tradition is. So I'm not sure Mahayana or Yogacara, as in someone suggested he translated mind only Yogacara. But I'm not, honestly, we're not really that sure.
Okay. Well, the answer I was looking for here was from the Madhyamaka tradition. Because the sort of the core texts from Nagarjuna and Aryadev were translated by Kumaragriva. However, we have to take your answers into consideration. So the Zen Brahmali, well, he did translate the tenfold Vinaya. Is that Sarvastivada?
That's Sarvastivada, yeah.
It is. So I'm going to, but there's just one text. I'm going to give a half mark to the Zen Brahmali there. The Sujato Sages, I mean, Mahayana, that was casting the net nice and broadly there, wasn't it? And I would probably give you half, and then you had to narrow it down and said Yogacara. And no, there wasn't any Yogacara at that time. So I'm sorry.
You're the traitor here, Zen Brahmali.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's 3 nasty ones from me. Let's move on to the next section, I think.
Oh, can we go back to the previous slide? Sorry, you know what that picture is? Does anyone know what that picture is?
I did put that picture, but I don't know what that is.
You don't know what it is. So this is a really nice picture because this is from, I can't remember where it's from somewhere along the Silk Road. And this is a picture of 2 Buddhist monks from different traditions meeting. And as you can see, like one of them looks very Chinese and the other one looks like he comes from probably Western Asia or something like that. So this is a really nice example of the diversity in the early Sangha.
Awesome.
And probably in Dunhuang or something like that. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if it's Dunhuang. It's definitely from around that area along the Silk Road.
Yeah. I used it in one of my books.
Put it down.
No. Anyway,
I got it. I'm on.
you're on.
What I
Congratulations.
can't do is put the sound only through my earpods. It won't come out.
Can we move?
They're showing things that they're talking about. So
I've got it.
So look how happy.
Next slide, yeah.
Excellent.
So that's back to me. So we're going to do the monastics round here. Round 1 of monastics. It's not necessarily Buddhist history because it was very difficult to find such questions, but this is from Venerable Dhammika. I don't know if he's online. I would like to just say hi if he's there online. Next slide.
Dhammika's going to ask some now.
Yeah, I'm not the only one trolling you guys today. There's quite a few questions here. Yeah, so there are 3 questions here. I'll take the second and third. You guys can take the first because the second and third is really tough. Why did the Buddha forbid monks from having a ball made of a human skull? Your time starts now.
Anybody?
Oh dear.
Time up. Can I ask the Sujato Sages what the answer is?
Sure. So the answer we got from the floor was that there was a time in the Vinaya where there was a monk going for alms round with a skull for a bowl, and then it was at night time, and so there was a flash of lightning, and so this lady in the house saw this monk standing out there with a skull and was, no, it's a demon. Terrified. So the Buddha said, don't A, go for alms round at night, and B, don't use a skull for an alms bowl.
Very good answer. Can I listen to the Zen Brahmali team?
Absolutely. So the answer from the Sujato Sages was not exactly quite correct. I have to correct them on this one. It is true that they were walking on arms around, but it was not at night. No flash of lightning. The people were scared of a skull. That was really all there was to it. That's the correct answer. Yeah.
Did I just make it more dramatic in my head?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I thought the flash of lightning at night was a different Vinaya story.
That was a different occasion when someone was just walking for alms ordinarily. Exactly. Yeah.
But regardless of that,
Cherish your victory while it lasts.
Oh dear, this is dangerous.
Oh, we still got the answer right. I think
Yeah.
we still get full marks.
Yeah, you get full marks for that. And I would like to just take the second and third questions. Why are Thai bowls so big enough for 10 meals? I don't know. I don't know. Even if it is that big, 10 people cannot sit around that bowl and eat. So let's move on to the next question. Is it true that bowls can serve as good helmets during raids or terrorist attacks? I think it's very good for cricket helmets, not for terrorist attacks, because you are done and dusted by the time they come.
Just on the second answer, I can answer that if you like.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah.
Yeah, in the old days, people didn't have plastic bags and all of these kinds of things, so that the bowl when you were traveling was the only thing that was waterproof. So the monks would put all of their possessions into the bowl, so that's why they had big bowls. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
Third one.
I would not recommend it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next question. So this is from the Ananja Vihara, Germany monastery by Venerable Palanyani and her nuns, and they were apparently discussing something, and that's how the question came to be.
Okay.
Hi, Venerable Palanyani, are you online? Just wanted to say hi. It's okay.
Hi, Venerable Palanyani. So, by the way, did you know that she used to be a professional comedian?
Yes, online. Hi to everyone.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Venerable. How are you going? Assume that's good.
Yeah. Next slide, please. So the discussion with them was, we're currently discussing the jhanas. Can you point out the importance of the practice of jhanas in daily practice according to your understanding? Very difficult question, 30 seconds. Time out. Can I ask the Zen Brahmali team, what could be the answer for this question?
This could be answered in so many ways. I'm not even sure where to start, but I would say that it is a fundamental factor of the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah, so it is fundamental for the whole path of awakening. So has to be part of your practice. Otherwise, you're not going to reach awakening. But whether that is part of daily practice, that's another question. I'm not sure exactly what so anyway, something like that.
Excellent answer. Sujato Sages?
So according to us, the answer is because it gives you a way of finding spiritual pleasure rather than material pleasure.
Wonderful answer. So let's score well for both teams. Yeah, very good. Okay, that is the end of round one. Can we have a tally of scores for round one? Next slide, please. So it's 64 Zen Brahmali team and Sujato Sages 55. What's catching up to do? Yeah.
Okay. Yay.
Can we have a recount? Good. Can we move on? Yes. So the second round is going to be Buddhist philosophy, and the reason why I put this image here is the Buddha was always represented as nothing. It's just a chair in early Indian depictions. So the master is here with us. Can we move on? First question from this section. In Buddhism, what does nirvana refer to? 30 seconds. Here you go, guys. So let's hear it from the Sujato Sages first.
Okay, so what does nirvana refer to? It's a 90s grunge band. No.
Smells like Teen Spirit.
Yeah. It is the ending of greed, hate, and delusion, and of rebirth.
Very good answer. Can I listen to the Zen Brahmali team?
Yes, we have some really good answers here. Like lots of people writing in. That's really great. So we have the one answer is exactly what Bhante Sujato is saying. The ending of greed, hate, and delusion. That's the kind of actually the standard way it is given in the Suda. I think that's the correct one. But the other thing you can say, what does it mean? It means extinguishment, says my team as well. But I think the first one is the answer. So there you go. Yeah.
Very good. So we all got what nirvana is. Very good. Right. So yeah, nibbana is also the same thing. It's just the Pali word. Yeah, that was a quick tip. Okay,
Sorry, I should show the tip before you answer.
Yes. Thank you. So this is going to be a bit fun. what are the 4 Brahmaviharas and how do they relate to the practice of metta? 30 seconds. Here we go.
4 Brahma.
Unmuted. Yeah, time up. Can we listen to the Zen Brahmali team first?
Yes, so we have again, my team is working really hard actually behind the scenes and coming up with everything. It's really great. I can just chillax, do nothing and drink coffee or whatever. So this is great. So the answer, the 4 Brahmaviharas in Pali are Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upekkha, which is like loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, something like that. And they are related to Metta in the sense that Metta is the first of the 4.
Okay, I can accept that answer to some extent, but I would want to also listen to the Sujato Sages.
To some extent. Okay, so the 4 Brahmaviharas, the same as Brahmali mentioned, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekkha, love, compassion, rejoicing, and equanimity. They relate there, and the practice of metta is foundational to all of them. So for somebody who wants to practice those things, then having a good grounding in metta is suitable for all of those. I would say that, we could also say of the 4 Brahmaviharas that they are 4 kinds of positive and wholesome emotions. We could also say of the 4 Brahmaviharas that they are a universal practice in Indian religion, found in the Brahmanical and Jain scriptures as well as in Buddhism.
Right. Thank you. The word I was expecting when I asked how do they relate to the practice of metta is, in my mind at least, the other Brahmaviharas actually enhance the practice of metta. So it is indeed foundational. So I kind of accept all your answers. So
Okay, very good.
You have a lot of metta. Thank you for your kindness.
I had the quick tip here. Have you heard of Metta Central? Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's move on. Yeah, another kind of tricky question from me. Matt is a nice guy. He will ask you the straightforward question with a straightforward answer. I'm not so nice. Let's move on. Yeah, what is the primary goal of Buddhist meditation? 30 seconds. Here you go. Time out. Can I listen to the Zen Brahmali team first?
All right. So the primary goal, I mean, it's kind of a bit ambiguous question, if I may say so. But
I also said the same.
but my team has come up with many beautiful answers, and the main answer, which may be correct depending on how you look at this, is the ending of suffering, which certainly is the main goal with Buddhism as a whole. And of course, you can argue that is the same as awakening, the same thing as knowledge and vision. That's one way of looking. Another way of looking at this, if I may say so, is that meditation as a practice, as a mindfulness of breathing or whatever, the purpose of that is actually samadhi or the jhana states. So these are two kind of complementary ways of thinking about it.
Thank you for your answer. Can I listen to the Sujato Sages?
Well, I think you're right. I think the word primary is a bit ambiguous. It can mean like the initial goal, but also the main goal. But I think the primary goal is nibbana, like the ending of suffering, freedom from suffering.
Yes, that's the thing I had in my mind as well.
Yeah.
The Buddha taught one thing and only one thing: suffering and the end of suffering. Yeah, let's move on.
But he also talked about like 5 advantages to having porridge in the morning.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's
also part
true.
of the suffering. The hunger. You have to alleviate that. Yeah. And the quick tip I had here was, we're not talking about how to alleviate suffering when you're talking to your partner. It's the primary goal. Yeah? Okay, move on.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Matt. He's a much nicer guy. Yeah?
Okay.
Hey,
That's
Matt.
philosophy. And here we have a Gandharan Buddha, I guess. Okay. Bit of a tricky one here. What Buddhist school of thought considered it not possible to perceive or cognize objects directly, but only via an image? And there's a trick, a clue. They really liked sutras. This school really liked sutras.
Are there any
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
All right. Okay.
Time up.
So I think this is the claim
Yep.
that they're making.
Ding, ding.
Something like that.
Okay,
So the
I've already
Sujato Sages.
forgotten which team I should be asking first. So on my little screen, the Sujato Sages are there. So Venerable Sujato and your team, what school of thought do you think this is?
Mostly looking blank face.
But the quick tip, the tip. Think of the tip.
I'm going solely on your tip. I'd say the Sautrantikas, but I've got honestly no idea. I mean, I've got a vague knowledge of the discussions around those things, but I can't really remember who was arguing for which point of view. But I'm going to go with Sautrantikas. So Sautrantikas was a school who emphasized the study of suttas, obviously, as opposed to Abhidhamma.
Thank you, Venerable. And the Zen Brahmali?
Yeah, I had no idea what the answer to the question was, but the tip was a kind of a giveaway. It had to be Sautrantika once I saw the tip, so that was kind of obvious. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, good.
Okay, excellent. Both teams are correct. It's the Sautrantikas. Now, finally, one of the tips. The tip was more helpful than the question itself. Okay, maybe I should have.
Sorry, mate. Am I right in thinking that what that means is whether you can like possibly sort of understand raw data, or whether there has to be some kind of processing involved, even to make even with the see light or something like that? Is that the point? The doctrine?
Well, I can say it quite simply. Okay, so if you've got this idea that time and change takes place moment by moment, right? Your Karnika type theory.
Yeah.
And if we have the idea that you have a visual organ, say the eye, and a visual object, say rupa, and then with these as causing, as conditions, you then have visual cognition, right? So your chakra vijnana. So because you've got a cause and effect relationship, the moment that you have the cognition, your actual object has already changed.
Right.
So you can't see it or perceive it directly because it's already changed. So you have this image thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah, it's quite
very
subtle idea, yeah.
It's a Buddhist philosophy topic, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. What is Vimalakirti's teaching on non-duality? Quick tip. Don't think about this answer too much, okay? 30 seconds.
Anybody?
Me too.
Time out.
Ding, ding. Okay. Now, I know you've been thinking about the answer, but despite the advice, Venerable Brahmali, your team, the Zen Brahmali, how say ye?
Yeah, so my team comes up with the kind of obvious answer, which I also had to go for because I don't actually know. But if according to your tip again, it seems to be saying not thinking is non-duality. That seems to be the answer. But anyway, so mind without thought, the thoughtless mind or something. Yeah.
A valiant attempt, but let us ask the Sujato Sages first.
Look, I would say, I think that's probably, that sounds like a good answer, but I would say probably that the teaching of non-duality would be the idea that things that we normally perceive as being binary opposites are in fact mere conventions. And that's something that we impose on the world, which actually, but these things are in essence are empty and interdependent. So binaries are a false perception, or at least a conventional perception of reality.
I like where you're going with this. Now, the standard answer. In order to give the standard answer, I have to kind of give a bit of the background, a bit of context. So, Vimalakirti asks various other bodhisattvas what they think non-duality is, and they all give some very lucid answers, and they say, samsara and nirvana are a duality, and you need to transcend this, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then he asks, last of all, Manjushri, and Manjushri says, basically, any kind of conceptualization is really a form of duality. And the way that you can transcend that is really by removing all these concepts. So silence. And then he asks for Vimalakirti, and Vimalakirti is silent. He doesn't say anything at all. So that would be my full mark answer. However, both of you are really correct. For the Zen Brahmali, yes, conceptualization, right? We could really say like a kind of a papancha, false, incorrect conceptualization about things. Yeah, that's really at the heart of it. And likewise, as the Sujato Sages say, understanding that all these things are, should we say, conventional expressions and so forth, they're ultimately empty and independent. So I'd like to give both teams half mark for this one. You've got the gist of it, but not quite that sort of standard answer, shall we say.
Oh. Didn't he turn Sariputta into a woman?
Sorry. Oh,
Sariputta into a woman.
no, it was a goddess that turned Sariputta into a woman.
Oh, was it?
Supposedly. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was
And
also
then that was also a bit about duality. Yeah.
a bit of attachment to binary opposites. But it was Vimalakirti who was like, he was the one who made the world's first knock joke, right?
Did he? Tell us more.
Didn't Sariputta go to his house and then he knocks on the door and says, "Who's there?" And he says, "Nobody." And then he says, "Nobody who?" And he says, something like that.
This must be the director's cut or something.
Something like that. I mean, there was a vague kind of thing. Anyway, he knocks on the Sariputta. It's all about like the sort of the way poor old Sariputta was attached to his conventional realities and stuff like that. And anyway, whatever. Let's move on.
It certainly sounds like it's something he would do.
Yeah. Right.
Let us move on. Next question. And here we have, I mean, this is such an incredibly abstract image, isn't it? According to Theravadan theory of mind, how many moments of mental bhavanga are there for every moment of physical bhavanga? Quick tip, it's not a one-to-one. It's not a one-to-one. You don't get one mental moment to one physical moment. 30 seconds.
Time up.
Ding. The Sujato Sages. How say ye?
So so the idea is that the bhavanga is like a sort of between, like a neutral state in which other things happen. How many moments of mental bhavanga are there for every moment of physical bhavanga? I'm first of all going to put a question mark behind the very idea of physical bhavanga. I'm not quite sure what that is kind of talking about, but I'm going to say 17.
I'm going to first apologize and say, yes, I really shouldn't have put physical bhavanga. I should have just put for every physical moment. So yes, I apologize. Bad phrasing on my part. The Zen Brahmali.
All right. So all I know is that you have the idea of the chitta vritti, which is the kind of the sequence of the mind moments according to the Abhidhamma. And according to that one, I think there is 17 mind moments in a kind of traditional sequence or whatever. And so I was also going to say 17, actually. I don't know if it actually is right, but that's what I was going to say anyway. So there you are. Yeah.
The answer I had was also 17. And I think, though I think the term there that Venerable Brahmali is used to refer to that sort of mental process is probably a far better way of putting it. So I'm glad both of you have given me the right answer, because I've realized that my phrasing of the question is pretty horrible. So that's a relief for me. So full marks for both teams there. Thank you very much.
We have a right answer to the wrong question.
Extra points.
Oh, extra points for both teams for correcting the question. How about that? Can we do that? Is that okay?
I did have an advantage, because that was literally the first Dhamma class that I ever went to. The monk stood at a blackboard and drew 17 circles on the board and said, this is your mind and this is how it works. That's literally the first thing I ever learned about Dhamma.
Yeah. They weren't very successful, were they? Now you're doing Suta Central. Kind of like...
All right.
Back to Bharat.
So this is round 2 of the monastics. And here's a question from Venerable Ananda, Bhante Ananda. It's from the Heart Dhamma Foundation. And here's his question. Next slide, please, Metta. Yep.
Wow, I hope that's not the question.
Can you recall the transcendental dependent origination sequence the Buddha used to explain how the mind becomes collected or immersed in the object of meditation? So I did intentionally put this image to not show you anything, but the quick tip is Matthew.
Okay, can anybody remember the transcendental dependent origination sequence?
Let's hear it from the Sujato Sages first.
Spoiled. Our dance that we planned was spoiled. Okay, so it begins with dukkha, begins with suffering, and then dukkha panisa sadha, sadhu panisa pamoja, pamoju panisa piti, I'm going to say, rapture, pitu panisa pasadi, tranquility, prasadhu panisa sukhang, sukha, sukhu panisa samadhi, samadhu panisa yatabhuta jnana dasana, knowledge of things that they really are, yatabhuta jnana dasana, upanisa nibbida, disillusionment.
You guys are really working hard. I only asked until collectedness.
Nibbida viraga, viraga panisa Niroda, is that right?
Yes.
Niroda there? Niroda Upanisa Vimutti Jnana Dasana or something like that.
You're right, but the
Something like
question
that?
itself was just until Samadhi. So you did a great job there,
Ah,
going
okay.
all the way. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Can we listen to the other team?
Yeah. Okay. So this is correct according to the Upanisa Sutta, which is number 23 of the connected discourses on dependent origination. But there is a varieties in this particular sutta, and sometimes it starts with sila rather than starting with saddha. So depending on the context, and when it starts with sila, there's one more link in the beginning, and that is avipattisari, which is non-regret, which comes before pamoja. Otherwise, I agree with Bhante Sujato, except for one thing. There is no nirodha in that sequence. After viraga, it goes straight to vimutti jnana dasana. That's the only correction I would make. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much. That was really wonderful. The quick tip was Upanisa Sutta. All right. And yeah, shameless plug here. November 4th to 12th, Metta Center is organizing a retreat at the Blue Mountains Karuna Center. It's going to be led by Bhante Ananda and Venerable Mettananda. It's going to be a sutta-based retreat, and I really encourage you to come along for those 9 days if you can. I'm going to ask one of my team to put the link to the retreat. Oh, wow, what a team I have. Okay, good. So that's the shameless plug there. Moving on to the next question. All right, so this question is from Venerable Sanata Vihari. Are you online, Bhante?
No.
Okay. All right. So the question is, what is the relationship between Brahma Viharas and jhanas? This is my favorite. 30 seconds, yes. Time on. Let's listen to the online team first.
All right. That's us. Okay. So we have many nice answers here from my team. Some of them say that you can enter jhana from them. Someone says they are sublime mind states. They are all in the first jhana. One can, and one of them says, and this is, I think, the right one, is jhanas come first, and then the spreading of the viharas comes afterwards. And this is kind of a standard exposition in the suttas. When you see the exposition of the higher states of meditation, you have the 4 jhanas, then the 4 Brahma viharas, and the immaterial attainments afterwards. So that I'm guessing that might be the answer in this case.
Wonderful.
There you are. Yeah.
Let's listen to the other team.
Dubious claims there. That's certainly the case in Sarvasivada, right? They tend to standardize that and have those 4, but in the Pali text it's a bit more less definitive than that. I would say that generally the suttas teach Brahma Viharas as essentially being another way of practicing jhanas. So they're sort of a kind of an enhancement or a particular avenue for practicing jhanas. In the as was pointed out in the Visuddhimagga, it says, and I think reasonably enough, it says that first 3 Brahma Viharas lead to the first 3 jhanas, and then the 4th Brahma Vihara, equanimity, obviously is associated with the 4th jhana. So they're both ways of practicing meditation that can lead to jhana, but also descriptions of those states of mind states which we otherwise can call jhana.
Wonderful answers from both the teams, and I don't know what Venerable Sanata Vihari had in mind when asking this question, but here is my take on this. It's based on the Metta Sanghata Sutta from the Samyutta Nikaya. Can I have the tip displayed there, Andrew? Yeah. So that's my 2 cents. These are interconnected meditation practices. The Brahmaviharas can prepare the mind for jhana, while jhana provides a stable platform for deepening the Brahmaviharas. And the reason why I say that is, in the Metta Sanghata Sutta, the first Brahmavihara can lead all the way up to the 4th jhana.
Right.
Yeah, and compassion can lead all the way up to the first Arupa jhana.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
that's an interesting
Mudita can lead all the way up to the 2nd immaterial realm, and so on. And there's also another interesting twist to this. You can actually use compassion to actually go to the first 4 jhanas as well. So it says it's the limit of compassion is the first immaterial realm.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. I don't know what Venerable had.
Yeah.
Anything to add there, Zen Brahmali? You were already, it's criticized to be very dubious, but anyway, let's improve your reputation here.
But they're usually not like identified, but there are some places in the sutras that actually identify them. So you have like the Karuna Jhana, for example. So yeah.
Don't just trust Ajahn Sujato when it says I'm dubious. Yeah, and investigate for yourself.
Oh no! Don't trust me when I say he's dubious. No, listen to what he says. And then...
Having a nice chemistry here. Yeah, very good.
Oh dear.
Moving on to the next question. All right, so this is round 3. Can we have a score? I think we're all equal. Yeah, all equal.
All equal.
I mean, not exactly equal in the ultimate sense, but equal in the round 2. Yeah.
Not exactly equal in the ultimate sense.
Okay, so let's go to round 3. This is first question on contemporary application of Buddhist teachings.
Oh, these are questions for me, aren't they? What's the contemporary movement in Japanese Buddhist studies that critiques Buddha nature theories and says they lead to various types of social injustice? Started with Zen, but it isn't Zen. 30 seconds. And I'm just looking for the English name for this movement, not the Japanese name.
Time up.
Every movement in Japanese Buddhist studies.
There we go. Over to the whichever team would like to answer first. Which probably means the other team has slightly longer to think about the answer.
I'll answer first because I've no matter how long I have to think about it, there's no way I'm going to get the answer. I don't think anybody here has a clue. I think I've read an article about that critique, but I've got no idea what the movement is called.
Just make up a term.
Make something up.
You're right. Yeah, because like
the Buddha nature sucks movement.
Yeah, close. That could probably be like a little online nick for it. The Zen Brahmali.
We haven't really got any great ideas here either, but I mean the only movement I know that is kind of socially involved in Japan is the Soka Gakkai movement. I don't know if this had anything to do with that. That's kind of as far. I don't know much about contemporary Buddhism in Japan, but I'll just say that because I don't know anything else.
I don't think the Soka Gakkai people would they'd probably be one of the targets of such a critique. They're just known as the critical Buddhism.
Right.
Nihon Bukkyo.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I said take a guess. Critical Buddhism.
Critical Buddhism.
Okay. And I say started with Zen, isn't it? Zen, it started with some scholars in a university that was set up by the Soto Zen tradition in Japan. So it's kind of, and kind of interesting because the Soto Zen people are very big on their Buddha nature. So they kind of set up university, got some scholars in, and the scholars had quite a critique of that. Okay, moving on.
What's the score for that?
0-0.
like that.
Yeah, just like that. It's still balanced. Okay, we've got to build up a bit of drama, right? Keep it like level scores until the last second. If we're
Not
competing with,
exactly, Matt,
didn't you say we're competing with like the grand final or something? I don't know. I'll make it exciting. Otherwise, people will like change channels, and if they think one team's winning. Which modern Buddhist leader has received the Nobel Peace Prize? Still alive and present in the present day. 30 seconds. Ding, ding. The Zen Brahmali. Which one has received the Nobel Peace Prize?
Right. So I thought that maybe there would be at least two different ones who has received it, but I thought one of them was Aung San Suu Kyi is one of those people, I believe, and I think there's another one as well. But maybe I'll just leave it to Bhante Sujato to carry the torch.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent answer. Thank you there, Bhante. And for the Sujato Sages.
Well, if it was about who's worthy for it, then obviously Ajahn Brahmali would be the. But we think probably the Dalai Lama.
Okay, my standard answer was indeed the Dalai Lama. However, I also did realize that Aung San Suu Kyi could definitely be an answer that somebody may give. And I was kind of thinking the modern Buddhist leader, and I don't usually think of her as a Buddhist leader, more of as a political figure. However, she was awarded the prize for, on the principles of nonviolence, which are very Buddhist inspired. So you might think this is a little bit harsh. I'd like to give 4 marks to the Sujato Sages and half mark to the Zen Brahmali.
Now we are equal. Okay. First round, trailing by 5 points. Second round equal. Third round, yes, we made it. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's getting tense here. Okay. I love this image. I don't know where this image comes from, but that's a really
Google
cool kind of picture. Okay, Google image. Yeah, just random Google image. What is the recent pejorative term that has been coined for modern commodified mindfulness practices? And I want to emphasize that it is a pejorative term, and it's only for the commodified mindfulness practices, okay? And if you don't know this already, the quick tip, think fast food meditation, 30 seconds.
You want to go first?
Who did I ask first last time? I think I asked the Zen Brahmali first. So, Sujato Sages.
Mindfulness.
And the Zen Brahmali?
Yeah, all my team members also say mindfulness. That must be the
that is indeed the term I was looking for. So, the idea that people have turned these otherwise really lovely practices, mindfulness-based, and then once you start turning it into something that's sort of a fast food, fad, quick hit, solve all your problems, use it to just, condition people so that they can actually not really find a way out of suffering, but just continuing with their suffering lives without complaining too much. Mindfulness is the term. 4 marks, both teams. Okay, and keeping those scores rolling along as well. I think I have to throw it back to Bharat, my other question asker at this point.
Yeah, more to the next slide here. All right. Next slide. All right, so this is about contemporary application. So what is the significance of the Buddhist practice of dana in contemporary society?
What do you think?
Time up.
Yeah.
Can I ask the Zen Brahmali team to answer first?
Yeah, so we have so I guess I have a lot of answers here from my team, and I'm going to kind of summarize it at the end, but let's go through them. So it's the proof of unconditional goodness is one answer. Sharing is another one. It's proof of the world is a good place. Positive mind states to donors, support of monastics. Cultivating generosity, practicing letting go, supporting monastics, and the spread of the Dhamma. So I think a lot of these answers are kind of ballpark right, actually. I would summarize it as the idea of making merit or making good karma from the point of view of the layperson, and from the point of view of the monastic is obviously to make a living, to survive, and so both are things for letting the Dhamma grow on both sides of the kind of divide or whatever. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can I listen to the Sujato Sages?
Yeah, so I think that I kind of focused on the thing of contemporary, like what is that's different about our society that makes dharana particularly relevant. And I think that we live in a world where materialism is exploding, like accelerating. Even in all societies are materialistic, but even more so. So I think sort of generosity countering the selfishness and narcissism of contemporary materialistic society.
Yeah, the quick tip I had there was think Suta Central, Metta Center, okay? Yeah, so what I had in mind was it really promotes selflessness, compassion, and the well-being of both the giver and the receiver. That's what I had in mind.
So it gets away from that idea of a zero-sum game. Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you, but I would give full marks to all teams. All right. Moving on to the next question. How does the concept of right livelihood in Buddhism guide ethical and responsible work choices in modern careers?
Do you take it or not?
Time up.
Right, so it's like a beacon to guide you. Okay. I think you're like the only good job is to run a lighthouse.
Tutiyampi time up.
Could be, but it could be.
Tutiyampi time up. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Bhante.
What's the answer from the Sujato Sages?
Apparently, we all have to run a lighthouse. It's unclear to me. But I think the idea here was that the concept of right livelihood can be like a lighthouse in the sense of being a beacon that can help you to guide you into making responsible choices. I simply would add to that I think in the modern world we have like a profusion of different kinds of jobs and different kinds of livelihood, many of which are quite distanced from the thing that they're about, like working in some kind of office and disconnected from people. So I think that I like to think of right livelihood in a sense of like trying to think about how we can bring a sense of connectedness that makes our job and our work life into something that's meaningful.
Great answer. Can we listen to the other team online?
Yeah, so we have what we have here is resting secure and how you make a living isn't harmful. Ability to choose a career which does not harm. It's difficult because workplaces are not ethical and is connected to global injustice. Doing a job that helps others can be a good cause for gladness. Yes, I think the basic idea here is obvious that you want to do a job that doesn't harm other people. That's basically the idea. And I think that a lot of the time that is about how we connect to the people in the workplace, especially, because very often we work in an office or whatever. How do you connect to your co-workers? How do you connect to your customers? Do you connect with compassion and care, these kind of things? And that is kind of often the best way to, I think, secure a right livelihood, if you wish.
Thank you so much. Can I have the quick tip from Metta? Yeah, have you heard about Metta Connections? I'm going to put Tina on the spot and ask her to do a speed on Metta.
I just note the time. I'm happy to do it later.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, sweet. Move on. All right. What is the significance of dependent origination, Paticca Samuppada, in understanding the nature of suffering? Can we listen to the Ajahn Brahmali team first?
Yeah, so the Ajahn Brahmali team says the following. It say that it is an account of how suffering arises. I'm just reading out some of the answers here, which I think is a really good answer. And then we have the idea that it is how suffering ceases, which is also very interesting because often depending arising always comes with dependent cessation, right? So that both are really closely related to each other. The idea of causality, exactly the causality that lies behind suffering. We can attempt to stop the cycle at various points to relieve suffering. Maybe a little bit, not 100% agreement with that myself, but anyways, there's some truth to that, of course. Arising and cessation of dukkha, absolutely. to learn how to change the cycle. Yeah, to maybe learn to stop the cycle would be even preferable. So it really is about the causality that lies behind suffering, and therefore how we can stop it. That's what I think. That's our answer.
So much to both teams. These are wonderful answers. Yeah. All right, moving on to the next question.
Did we answer it?
Wait, I was looking.
How can you not be right? These are so fundamental questions.
Sorry.
I concur with my learned friend.
Back to Matt.
Yeah, I think the correct answer is it's complicated.
It is. So is it over to me to read out this round 3 of the monastics questions? Okay, we have, I'm sorry, I can't, because I've got things on my screen here. So the first monastic question of the 3rd round is from Venerable Satya Santakaro from the Santakaro Forest Temple in Slovakia. I don't know if Venerable is with us online.
Is he?
Oh, yes, he is.
Oh, yes.
Hey, Venerable.
So he says, good
Hello,
evening,
Venerable.
everyone.
Yeah.
Sending warm greetings from Slovakia and warm greetings to Slovakia from the rest of us as well. Thank you for all the interesting questions and answers. May the Dharma flourish in our hearts. Thank you. And Venerable's question is, I just have to rearrange my screen so I can see things. Among the 32 signs of a great man, in Pali Lakshana, it is said that the Buddha had deep blue eyes like sapphire, Abhi Nila Neto. What is the cause of this sign? 30 seconds.
Time out.
Ding, ding. Okay, time up.
Sorry?
Which team's first? Sujato Sages.
Yeah,
What is the cause of the Buddha having these deep blue eyes like sapphire?
But I'm going to go with that he, in past lives, he always looked on people with equanimity and kindness, and not in a judgmental and hurtful way. And so because of that sort of clear-eyed and open-hearted way of seeing people, this is why he has that sort of deep blue eyes in the current life.
That sounds like a very nice answer. And now I'm watching Venerable's like body language there.
That
I think
sounds
he's
really
saying something like, I hope that's right. The Zen Brahmali.
Yeah, I thought that was my time to talk about dubiousness. Yeah, that sounds really dubious to me. It's kind of blue eyes, brown eyes. I don't know about that. Anyway, so here is the here is some of the ideas from our team. I'm just going to have a quick. There's some nice ideas. The ocean of wisdom is one that I like that idea. It's a really beautiful idea. And here comes the one that's actually interesting. This is that the Buddha had Persian genes, and actually there is someone who wrote a paper a while ago. I think it has been debunked completely, but the idea was that the Buddha's family somehow came from Persia. The second clan was somehow based from Persia. So it's not as wild as you might think. A mirror of a still lake is kind of the reason. Blue is pure. I don't know if that really works, but anyway, that's interesting. Could it be that what was misappropriated later? It is part of the early text. So I'm not sure if it was, but I think all of these are possibilities. But I would go with the fact that he had developed a divine eye or something like that. So his eyes were somehow different because of that. Anyway, there you are.
Okay, thank you, Zen Brahmali. Now I'm going to read out the standard answer here. The cause is that the Bodhisattva, so that's obviously right. We know that the 32 marks are when he is a Buddha, well, actually in his last life, even before he became a Buddha, but they were developed during his practice on the Bodhisattva path. That's the usual take. The cause is that the Bodhisattva saw all enmities and gains with a pleasant, i.e. happy mind, and he had great kindness towards all sentient beings. Now, I think that Venerable Sujato's team there, I think, have you got it 100% right? You've got it very, very close. I think I'm going to give you I'm going to give you full marks on that. With it, you've got the bit that he looked on all beings with kindness. And I'm sorry, Zen Brahmali.
Yeah.
Not quite there though. The idea of the Buddha having Persian genes or something. I mean, quite possibly, but that's not the standard answer we've got here. So let us move on.
Yeah.
Quick tip the Bodhisattva. Okay, there we go. Our next monastics question from this round is from Venerable Namananda from Vietnam. I would love to be able to pronounce the name of the monastery. However, I'm afraid I might do a horrible damage. Is Venerable with us online today?
Sujato just said she might be at Santi.
No, she was at Santi with me for some years ago. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. I don't know if we have anyone from Vietnam with us who can just read out the name of the monastery. That would be very nice and appreciated.
Vĩnh Nghiêm Long, Vĩnh Nghiêm Long Hưng Monastery, Hà Nội, Việt Nam.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Vĩnh Nghiêm Long. Okay. And our question from Venerable is, what would Dhamma and Vinaya look like if the Buddha was born in the mid-20th century or in Australia or America? Okay, do we have a quick tip? What's the quick tip? We don't have a quick tip. Quick tip, just open space for your creativity. 30 seconds to write yourself a modern Buddhavamsa story.
I think you would make a rule about that. Okay, difficult to say, right?
Time up.
Hard question to say.
Okay, ding ding, time up. Okay, this is quite a creative one, so I hope both teams have fun answering. The Zen Brahmali.
Okay.
What would Dhamma and Vinaya look like in such a case?
Yeah. So let's see what we have here on my from my supporters. See what they have to say. So include the non-use of modern technology, Zoom and mobile. Maybe, or maybe he would have a rule about bicycles being okay and phones not. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? So yeah, I think the Dhamma would be basically the same, because the Dhamma is about purifying the mind. I can't really change that too much, but I agree with the idea that probably the internet might be banned or something like that if the Buddha was alive today, for monastics, that is. Bicycles being okay, maybe that one too. I'm not sure. That's interesting. All right, there you are.
Okay, thank you, Zen Brahmali and the Sujato Sages.
Okay, so
true blue Aussie Buddha.
Okay, thanks. Beauty, mate. So we had a couple of answers along similar lines, like restricting social media use and things like that, but I prefer to take it in another tack. One of the things that I've been researching a lot is about how the Buddha's teachings are a dialectic and how he is engaging with the philosophies and ideas that were around him at the time. And a lot of the things that we take as being the Buddhist way of doing things are in fact part of a conversation. So I would say that if the Buddha was alive in the 20th century, that he would have responded to a lot of the ideas and philosophies and so on that were around at the time. So we'd hear the Buddha talking about Christianity, Christian theology. We'd hear the Buddha in conversation with Muslim imams, and we would see the Buddha responding to existentialism and modern atheism and all of these kinds of things. And so we'd also see the Buddha giving like recommendations for social and political things that were appropriate for our time and place. And so they would be, of course, still fueled by the same values that the Buddha gave and the same fundamental teachings, but those expressions of how the contemporary expression of them would be would I think be more tuned towards the issues that were around him at the time.
Would he have created Suta Central, you think, Bhante? Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
I think we just have live podcasts, couldn't we? We could just like have recordings of the Buddha's voice, and you could upload, use voice recognition to text. Suta Central with a slightly different function, perhaps.
Sounds horrifying, but anyway, go on.
Okay, I'm first going to read out kind of the standard answer that we have along with the question. So here it is. If the Buddha were born in the mid-20th century in Australia or America, his teachings might include meditation apps, Dharma podcasts, and mindfulness retreats in the outback or the Rockies. So that's what I've got written here. However, as one of the, as the person who gets to ask the questions and so forth, I can just totally go with both answers from both teams here. Yeah, particularly both of you touch on the idea that the essentials are going to be the same. So the Dhamma is going to be the same. The central idea is going to be the same, but there's going to be some adaptations, right? There's going to be certain things that might be not profitable, despite being popular, that maybe the Buddha restricts. Other things maybe that are beneficial, that are permitted. And likewise, the Buddha is obviously going to engage with different ideas of the time, right? So I want to give full marks to both teams for this one. And just, I think this is such a fascinating question to kind of explore. So full marks for both teams there.
Could I just comment, the interesting difference between the responses in the room were essentially negative about technology, whereas the responses that Dhammananda gave were that he would be taking advantage of using technology in a positive way. So I think that's interesting.
So that's the answer by ChatGPT that I asked ChatGPT.
Oh, that was ChatGPT's answer. That wasn't Dhammananda's
I didn't know
answer.
what Wendell had in mind.
She just gave the question.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, no wonder ChatGPT would be.
And also the image is AI generated. Yeah, so I just gave, for this sentence, what would you think of? And then this was the image that AI had.
Well, now I'm glad that I didn't just use that answer to award the points. Okay, what's next? Final scores. Dun, dun, dun. Drum roll, please.
Are we going into penalty time?
Who can enter jhana fastest? Who can display their psychic powers?
Matt, I was just saying that I don't know if you saw, but when I was growing up in Australia, that one of the most popular shows was the Monkey Magic, which was the story of Ajahn, aka Tripitaka, on his way to India. And one of the episodes of that I remember was when they had a meditation competition. So he was like competing with like this Taoist meditator. So they had to climb up these pillars and sit at the top of these pillars and try to out-meditate with each other. And the Taoist guy kind of cheated by creating a march fly with his magic powers and then having it fly around into Tripitaka's mouth and ears and stuff while he was trying to meditate. So that's obviously what we'd have to do if it came to a penalty shooter.
Okay, we'll note that down. Tina, can you please note that down? Psychic powers, meditation on pillars. No dirty tricks. Okay.
All right, so we can announce the winner. So the scores are for Zen Brahmali 190, for Sujato Sages 200. So a winner is
Congratulations.
Yeah,
very
well done,
close,
Bhante.
so close.
Yeah.
Close. Well played, Venerable. Well played.
Remember what we said at the beginning? This means that I'm more profound. Remember that? This is kind of a big deal.
Well played, up to a point. Yes, well played.
Okay. Good.
Thank you all so much. That was highly entertaining, but also learned so much from that experience as well. I just want to make a few announcements because today is the first of a whole week of the Metta Convention, which we're very excited to be a part of. So I'm just going to... Not happening. Okay.
You're muted.
So sorry. So this is the first of a whole week. So I hope you really enjoy today. Today is an example of what we hoped this whole week is going to be about, which is about the Dhamma, about friendship, about community. I hope the laughter, the wisdom, the insights, the sharings from today will continue for the rest of the week. So yeah, so we have this whole week ahead of us, and I'm really excited to share this with you. Earlier, we also mentioned about right livelihood. I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the trivia because it was going so well, but if I could just indulge me for a bit and just tell you a little bit about this project. It's called Metta Convention. sorry, Metta Connection. Had the convention all through my mind. So Metta Connections, the whole point of this is it's a project where we want to connect lay people together. So all of us as professionals, we may be wanting to reach out to another Buddhist professional, to network, to refer, to mentor, to be a mentee of, but also for us to connect the lay community with the Buddhist temples and the Buddhist organizations. So we have certain skills that no doubt would benefit the Buddhist community. So if there's a particular project that the Buddhist temples or organizations, or even Suta Central, they may require some other paid or unpaid kind of help, but specifically people who understand about the Dhamma, then this is a nice way for them to find people who have those professional skills as well as the heart who want to support Buddhism as well. So this is a website which is available online, and I'll post that into the chat shortly. So it's Metta Connections and it's a free service. So I hope that you can all participate in this. It's a pilot program, so we need as many individuals to participate as much as possible, and of course Buddhist organizations as well, because it's only going to work if we have enough people to be on there. So you just have to create your own profile, put some information in there about yourself, and then hopefully the magic will happen on its own. And then in the future, we hope to create some events as well, including mentoring events, as well as we've got some monastics who are very interested to give talks about that subject of right livelihood. And we also have professionals who are already out there working and bring Buddhism into the work that they do. And so we'd like to invite them as guest speakers as well. Okay, so thank you all so much. One last thing, sorry, is that Metta Centre, we do run various events throughout the week at this particular room in Western Sydney University, and also they are offered hybrid as well. So on Mondays, we have free meditation, Monday nights, Tuesday nights is free yoga, and Wednesday nights we have Dhamma talks, and we have talks from different traditions and speakers from all around the world. So all of this is offered free to the community. So we'd really like for you to participate, be a part of it, and support the work that we do. And by supporting us, if you would like to make a donation, you are very welcome to, and we can pop our details into the chat. But today we also would really encourage all of us to support the amazing work that Bhante Sujato and also Ajahn Brahmali have done with Suta Central, and all of the team that have come together to make the Dhamma so accessible. And we really want to support that. So if you would like to make a donation, then it's the donation details around Suta Central's website, and also I've posted that into the chat as well. So Venerable, is there anything you would like to say as a conclusion? And Ajahn Brahmali, I'll come to you shortly as well.
No, just to say thanks to all of the organisers, thanks to yourself, Tina, and all of the team who brought this together, and to all of the people who submitted their questions. And a great kind of diversity of questions there, and especially to Venerable Brahmali and his team for being a worthy adversary.
Thank you.
And a gracious loser.
This is recorded and placed on YouTube. So Ajahn Brahmali, any kind words from your end?
Right. So I would say that according to my teacher Ajahn Brahm, being a loser is always the best, right? And we're supposed to lose things in Buddhism, right? So being a loser is a kind of this is the best thing you can be. So we're really happy about this. So thank you for allowing us to lose. But more seriously, thank you everyone for your for organizing this and for organizing this whole convention. It's wonderful work, and thanks, and thank you not the least to my wonderful team who supported me. Without my team, I would be really in trouble. So I'm very happy for having all there. So thank you so much, everyone, for your for everything.
Thank you so much to the two venerables. Thank you, Matthew and Barris, for facilitating the Q&A and the trivia. That was really exciting. And thank you, of course, to all of the participants for being such good team players today and supporting all of this. So thank you all, and see you soon. Thank you.